I'm here in Zurich, Switzerland, and I can't hang around because this place runs like clockwork. In this episode, I'll discover how the E190-E2, now in service with Helvetic Airways, will enhance the airline's reputation for offering a high-quality, punctual service and strengthen its green credentials. I'll also be venturing outside of Zurich to find out what else makes this country tick. Join me for another incredible journey. Powered flight, which began in the early 1900s, is inseparably connected to Swiss watchmaking. IWC, based in the picturesque town of Schaffhausen to the north of Zurich, have been making pilot watches for generations.
The idea of making pilot's watches came up in the 1930s because the sons of our owner, Mr. Homburger, they were passionate pilots. The eldest son came back here to Schaffhausen to help his father, and the first watch came then for private pilots, and it started a tradition.
How important is precision engineering to watchmaking?
If we talk about pilot's watches, for example, of course, when it comes to navigation, calculation of speed, fuel consumption and all that things, it's very, very important that the watch is really, really running well. The very interesting thing is the parts, the small parts inside the movements are really very small. You hardly can see them.
What design cues do we see in the modern day watches that relate back to IWC's heritage?
One of the most iconic pilot's watches, here I have an example for you. This is a famous Mark 11 navigator's wristwatch that was in use by the Royal Air Force. And we wanted to translate these design codes in the collection of this year. You can see it's a new interpretation. The whole shape, it's very inspired by this.
Wonderful looking watch. And it's precision engineering and technical excellence that's key to the successful entry into service and day-to-day reliability of the next generation E190-E2. Yesterday, I travelled to Zurich Airport, Helvetic Airways' main hub, to gauge the reaction to the new aircraft before it departed to Budapest.
Nice aeroplane to fly. The pilots, they said the transition from the E1 to the E2 was really easy. They love to fly it. The cabin crew, of course, they are very happy because the passenger is happy. The management, we are very happy because the promised fuel reduction is even better than announced.
How many of you agreed to buy, and over what sort of a time period are you going to phase them in?
We have a firm order of 12 E190 E2s. The first one is already in service, but the last one will come in summer 2021. And then we have purchase rights for another 12 aircraft.
Recently, Helvetic Airways and flag carrier Swiss International Airlines announced the expansion of their long-standing partnership. Currently, Helvetic fly to over 40 destinations as part of a wet lease agreement.
Swiss always set very high standard, and with the E2 we will exceed their expectations, I'm quite convinced. And it's a long-term partnership since 2006, and we are convinced that it will continue. When we decided to go for the E2, the climate discussion was not as intense as it is today. So we made the right decision. And I think with the new aircraft, with the lower carbon footprint and lower noise levels, we have the aircraft for the future.
Zurich Airport is one of Europe's most modern and forward-looking airports and has a programme of initiatives to reduce emissions and noise. I caught up with Stefan Widrig to find out more. Stefan, you're a very forward-thinking airport. Issues like noise and emissions are something that are really, really important, particularly to your neighbours.
So we monitor it very closely. We see the advancements in technology very well. And the new Embraer obviously is a new milestone in that development. Especially on departure, this new aircraft of Embraer has a much reduced noise level, and this is very well observed by the neighbours as well.
So the Embraer jet, in your opinion, is a blessing because it makes your life easier?
It helps, yeah.
Out on the apron, Helvetic Airways, Flight 2254, was being prepared for departure.
They love it. They're very excited. They come in like, oh my God, this is a new aircraft, right? I was like, yeah, it's just 2 weeks old and stuff. So they're very excited and they love it. We have much more space for the luggages, so the passengers feel free and can just put it like that. That's very, very nice. Because of the short haul, we have a light system, so we can play with the light. We can do the flight a bit brighter for our passengers. That's very, very cool.
I didn't have much time left, so I headed half an hour out of Zurich to Mount Pilatus, overlooking the lakeside city of Lucerne. Catching the last cable car of the day, I could see I was in for a treat as the sun was just starting to set. What a fantastic couple of days it's been. I've seen how precision engineering and technical excellence leads to class-leading performance and reliability in Swiss pilot watches and the E2 Profit Hunter. I've also discovered the significant steps Embraer and Helvetic Airways have made reducing noise and emissions, which is important for Zurich Airport and the communities that live in the picturesque towns and villages in this breathtakingly beautiful country.
I absolutely love Switzerland. Here we are at the top of the world, literally, but it's freezing. So I'm going to go back to the hotel and warm up. Join me next time for another incredible journey.